The day was nearly spent. The sun, which had spent the better part of the afternoon shrouded by heavy rain-laden clouds, at last slipped free and washed the fields in brilliant reds and oranges. Link only had minutes to appreciate the stunning view before the golden disk was chased below the horizon by the twilight that crept down the eastern mountains and rolled inexorably over the countryside. Epona slowed her pace to a snail's crawl, letting him know with the occasional snort that she did not like travelling when she couldn't see the path ahead. "Me too, girl," Link said as he dismounted and led her to a fishing pond that looked like a decent place to bed down for the night. After he relieved the mare of saddle and tack, Epona sniffed daintily at the muddy water and ambled off to find something better to drink. Link let her go. She knew better than to travel out of hearing range. He collected some firewood from a rotting skeleton of what had once been a canoe to make a campfire. He eyed the pond wistfully, but lacking both the gear and energy to fish, he simply sighed and ate something from the provisions that he had packed into his saddlebags. By then, the last of the sunlight had fled the world and left him in a black void with only the feeble sphere cast by the fire to see by. Navi stirred in his hat and offered sleepily to give him more light, but Link shook his head and sent the fairy back to her nest with a murmured word. He worked meticulously to check over his gear and weapons to make sure they were in working order, and once that was done, he took out the ocarina and played some of his favourite songs to fill up the silence. And all the while, his bedroll remained untouched. Link put the ocarina away and paced around the small confines of his camp, occasionally pausing to gaze into the darkness. His blistered feet ached, and exhaustion made his eyes itchy, but he did not cease his movements. His attention was elsewhere, listening with bated breath to the silence that told him that he was the only human soul for miles around. "Link, go to sleep," Navi said in his ear groggily. "We've got a long way to go tomorrow." Brow furrowed, Link opened his mouth to reply, and then he finally heard it, drifting on the night wind like a ship at sea, sailing onward until it found safe harbour in his listening ears. A song played on the haunting chords of a lyre, a gentle and poignant melody of sorrow and bereavement, yet it retained a thread of hope for better times, or perhaps a memory of those times. Link smiled, and only then did he kick off his boots and spread out his bedroll on the grass that was still damp from the rain. He burrowed into its confines with a heavy sigh, the fatigue of travel catching up to him. He could still hear the song as he shut his eyes and relaxed into sleep, and he whispered a response to the shadows that no longer seemed quite so oppressive. "Good night, Sheik."